Hello, I'm Max Gallus and I'll be talking about my part in the group creation of the game The Eld. My main role is being the narrative designer. The role of narrative designer is responsible for the implementation of the game story. Besides being the lead narrative designer, I also took the role of creating most of the textures and 3D models used in the game, as I have a basic experience in using Photoshop and Blender. Also, I'll be taking the role of project manager to make sure everyone knows what to do for the project. Starting off, I mainly focus on writing the background of the playable characters so me and my team will know what type of characters we have in our game. This is important as creating a character profile is a good way to define the character's backstory, appearance, traits, goals, and flaws. To develop the main character even further, I've wrote journal notes that the player gets around the game, and these notes are the character's thoughts and feelings about the current situation they are in. These journal notes are based on the first Outlast game note system, in which the character writes after recording a key event or key object. These notes make the character seem real to the player, which in turn shapes a bond between them. The creation of these notes was made in Google Docs, as is easily accessible anywhere and anytime. It's formatted the same way as Microsoft Word, but just on a browser. Writing these notes took me a while to perfect, as at first I wrote them with a normal, boring character dialogue. However, the character of James Hoffman was completely opposite, as the team and I wanted a more fleshed out character. Going back to the character profile, James is an asshole, egotistical, ambitious, determined, chatty, and easily tempered character, and the notes had written down did not match his personality at all. Changing the notes to make the character be more of an asshole took some time, and with some help from my team over time made the writing progress much easier. Now, whenever the player reads the notes, they will see what type of character James Hoffman is and how he views the world of the game. After writing the journal notes, I've took the part of creating most of the textures used in the game. From the grass in level 1 to the metal walkway used in level 2, all these textures were created with the use of Photoshop, with a custom setting to make these textures appear smaller and more pixelated, as usually for a PlayStation 1 style game. Game developers back in the day did not have advanced methods of creating amazing quality textures like we have now. So I had to change the default Photoshop size to fit perfectly for the game theme by making it 128 pixels by 128. Besides making the textures for the ground and walls for the game, I've also made textures that will be used as decals in the game, such as graffiti and blood. These textures were much easier and simpler to make, as I didn't have to change any settings in Photoshop, but only make sure that the background is transparent. The challenges that I had in the creation of the textures was mainly making sure if for example the grass texture is implemented in the game, it does not have a cut off line, which will be easy to spot. However, Photoshop has a pattern view, which allowed me to make the textures look like they connect with each other rather than having obvious cut off. Overall, the creation of the textures and decals was simple to do with some research for inspiration. Furthermore, during the texture creation, I started making 3D models as well. However, it was challenging as I've only used Maya before using Blender, but after trial and error, I got a hang on Blender. Plus, Blender has more tutorial videos online, which makes it easier to grasp than Maya. Models that I've created for the game were used to fill in the empty blanks in the levels to make them seem less empty and more fleshed out, so that the player is in an actual location rather than just placing some trees and calling it a day. The models I've made are a bush model, cargo container, bathroom sink, wooden crate, 2 wooden pallets, toilet door, whiteboard, forklift, and some trash such as cigarette, plastic bowl, and crumpled up paper. Many of these models were created with the help of YouTube tutorials, as my skills in Blender are not that advanced, and with these tutorials it makes me more used to Blender and develop my knowledge in modeling. With these models, the world of the Eld looks less empty and has some character, making it feel like the location was busy and lively before it turned desolate. Lastly, the role of project manager allowed me to keep track of mine and others' progress throughout the development of the project, and also give out tasks related to the project. We decided to use a project management website as it's easy to access for everyone when away from home or university. We started using a website called Pratical at first. However, most of its perks, such as reminders and giving out dates to individual tasks, had a paywall. After running out of the free trial, we continued to use it mostly. However, shortly we forgot about it and we did not keep good track of each other's progress. After the Christmas break, we started using Trello, which is easier to use and navigate through. And with Trello, it was clear who was doing what, and it sent out emails of the changes made to the planner and also reminded us of the individual tasks deadlines whenever we set them on the site, as most likely we would have had forgotten about the deadlines that we gave each other if it wasn't for Trello. It didn't have any paywalls like Placky, and with everyone doing different things, we chose to have a weekly deadline to focus on specific parts of the game, so that the key things such as the CCTV mechanic and had the highest priority. Also, with the weekly deadline, if there were issues with code or anything else, the person doing that certain task will be focusing mainly on the issue before moving on to another thing, as we wanted our game to be a rough beta but still be good and playable. In conclusion, the Eld's creation journey has made me focus on multiple different aspects in game design rather than just narrative design, which is my passion. My skills in Blender, Photoshop, and Project Management have improved a bunch, and with these skills, expanded my knowledge for the future whenever I'll be looking for a job in the game industry. From initial concept to final polish, each team member's dedication shaped a world theming with captivating lore and immersive gameplay. Despite challenges, we overcome obstacles, crafting our dream into an actual game. Even after the submission, we will continue in making this game and release it for people to play in the future. Thank you for watching.